Hello, and welcome to Bealtaine at Home 2021, and thanks for joining us this evening. I'm Tara Byrne, and I'm the Artistic Director of Bealtaine, Ireland's national festival which celebrates the arts and creativity as we age. The festival is produced by Age and Opportunity, Ireland's national development organisation, supporting quality of life for everyone aged 50 and upwards. So this evening, I'm really pleased to present a selection of writing by the Bealtaine Writers Group, which celebrates and reflects on the work of Paula Meehan and her latest anthology, As If by Magic. The reading will be followed by an interview with Paula. The Bealtaine Writers Group came into being as a result of a poetry writing workshop with Ethna Strong as part of a previous Bealtaine festival. A group of writers, including Maimon MacDonald, decided to continue writing and have met every month since for the past 20-odd years in the Irish Writers' Centre. They have produced 2 anthologies of their work, with a third to be produced later in 2021. Before I hand you over, I'd like to thank the Bealtaine Writers Group and Paula Meehan in advance, and of course our core funders, the Arts Council and the HSC, but thanks also to the Irish Writers' Centre for supporting us in presenting this event. Please check out our other events on the Bealtaine website and YouTube channels, all available at bealtaine.ie, and you can also look at ageandopportunity.ie for information on our other initiatives. Take it away.
My name is Marguerite Colgan, one of the Bealtaine writers since 2004. I'm enchanted by Paula Meehan's poems, words telling their honesty, their wonder, their gentleness, the surprise, magic gift of life. These 3 pieces are my response. Driocht. With empty hands I enter the light of each creature, each flower, each stone. Adair she féin on Bondri. Driocht, magic. Bondri, female druid. Druids, moral guides, memory keepers, genealogy, the stories, the poems, makers of magic in pre-Christian Ireland. And then onto the book. The cover beckons me, here they come. 4 birds step in from the east as azure fades to palest green. Wings of ultramarine, burnt umber are folded, they have landed. Plump, sun-yellow breasts show dabs of blue watermarks. Long legs are striding out again, new times, new places, old. Beaks needle-sharp reach down, probe the earth's belly. Black eyes take it all inside. I open the book, hear their song. My third piece is a line from Paula Meehan's writings from the Ireland Chair of Poetry 2016. So the title is Her Words. The poem opens and opens again. The letters curl, lift, carry their words, sliding, shifting, whispering. Make new ones from the letters on the page. I'm in bed listening to the kitchen. Poker rattles metal to tip the ash. Shovel scrapes the tin bucket. Back door opens, closes, gentle so not to wake us. Metal on metal again, big spoon on the porringer ring. I expect it, wait for it 3, 4 times, time to get up. Daddy has made the porridge, warm, sweet, milky, to start the day for Mom, for us, for our dog, our cat. I hold these letters, pack them into bundles. The smell, the taste, the sound, our dad. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Breed Brophy and I'm here in County Laois. I've been writing with the Bealtaine writers now for a good few years, and I'm particularly grateful to be part of it now during the last year, and thanks to Peter for keeping us all connected. It was very important and it was really nice. And the opportunity to be part of Age and Opportunities project again this year, and Paula Meehan's lovely book, As If by Magic. The poem that I read that reminded me of another poem that I might write. It was called The Exact Moment I Became a Poet. So mine is called Baptism at Altamont. Ropey, knotty arms of a majestic oak, stories of hundreds of years seeping in at my back, laughter of new love, rushing waters below, washing anger away, leaving contentment in its way. Emptiness, finally, thankfully, from the inside out, hidden away, prayering, quivering energy, woodquest cooing, awakening unremembered memories. Gunshot, midges, fallen leaf, ego, through the open door. To call yourself poet, claim the right. Only you can. And the second one, Paula has mentions of herbs and gardens and weeds in her book. So this worked out of that for some reason. It's called Grandmothers Speak. Little Josh bounds from the sitting room, topped up on tractor talk with his Uncle Thomas. What you doing, Nana? I'm making rosehip vinegar. How you make that stuff? It's good for sore throats and colds. How you know that? My mammy told me. Nana, who told her that? Her own mammy, Josh, her own mammy. And Nana, can it go in my chips? It can indeed, Josh, it can indeed. Can I help you, Nana? Yes, you certainly can. He knew just the thing for this job. We fetched from the memory table out in the hall a pair of brass donkeys with saddlebags, keepsakes from great Granny Mary. And back at the kitchen table, like a scene from the turf cutter's donkey, I slit the skin on the hips, heaped them up for collection. Josh lends a hand in play and creation, sharing the breath of this praying moment. A harvest Thanksgiving. Thank you.
Beautiful.
My name is Neville Woodchard. I joined Balsina Poetry Group 3 years ago at age 81. I had never written poetry before, and my knowledge of modern poets and their works was minimal. During the past 3 years, I've learned a lot and enjoyed the company of some very talented writers. I write poetry for my own amusement, and it is a privilege to be able to share it with the group. This poem was inspired by Paula Meehan's piece, Boy Winkle, and I called it Stick a Pin in Me. I was very pleased to hear that the chosen book this year was not about depression, death, or incest, but a poetry collection by an author of renown, which was sure to be a source of inspiration. It was hard to get the book. Shops and libraries locked up. Eventually, I got it on my Kindle. After I had read it, I felt quite inadequate. There was no way I could wait as long as that. Then a good friend pointed out that what it's all about is finding something that provokes a thought. Anything I wrote was really for myself. I wasn't trying to win a competition. I went to the book again, and I think I should explain that when I read, I'm quite a lazy person. I like poems I understand. The meaning isn't clear. I don't want to psychoanalyze the writer. The poem that passed my test, and I really liked the best, described being sent with sixpence by Winkles. I could picture the locations, conjure up the smells, as a happy little girl skipped down the street. A lesson in extraction gave the girl the satisfaction of having one more Winkle for herself. And I learned that it's as hard to get a mollusk from its shell as it is to get a poem out of me.
My name is Glenda Cimino. I've been writing poetry since I was 6. I hope I'm getting better. The Belchina group inspires me and supports me in a wonderful way. I'm so happy to have found them at this late stage. And Paula, I've actually known since the 80s. I'm happy to say that as Beaver Press, we discovered and published her first 2 collections, and she has gone from strength to strength. I identify with her sense of magic, her pantheism, her understanding of nature and the world, which is very deep. And I've written a couple of poems here connected loosely with the book and our lives. I'd like to say that being older focuses your attention, and it's time to get the boxes out from under the bed. I'm going to read 1 long poem and 2 very short ones. I fear I have left it too late. My life has passed so far as if by magic, so much taken for granted, so much lost that I thought wrongly I could always count on. Life has passed like a dream, half forgotten on waking. It seemed important at the time, but now it's hard to recall what it was all about. I fear I have left it too late. More years behind me than ahead of me, so many friends and family passed on to where I can only imagine. I fear I've left it too late to write a memoir. I know I've forgotten more than I can remember of the life I have lived. Memory is a trickster at best. Poring over relics of the past, I travel back in time, seeing now what I couldn't see then, knowing what I did not know. I am becoming someone else, no longer the hero of the story, just a witness looking back from afar, shifting perspective from figure to background. This is the compensating gift, seeing myself as just one thread in a larger tapestry, learning more about the lives of the people who touched and shaped mine. I pay loving homage to the dead and the living, reaching out to the survivors of my generation, now weaving together the strands of our lives, past and present. I'm reaching back even further, marveling at secrets DNA exposes, tracing the lives of the generations from which I came, as I gather their stories and their struggles. Surprising ancestors emerge from the shadows, Huguenots, Puritans, witches, lords and ladies, tailors and barrel makers, pirates and colonists. I can see how I carry in me blood and hopes of so many. Their lives, their joys and tragedies, I reclaim as my own. And I know it is not too late to weave the story. Second poem is Reflection on Implicate Order, which is also partly inspired by David Bohm, the physicist. This is the life I have led. It's called Reflection on Implicate Order. This is the life I have led, or the life that led me. Is it the life I chose, or the life that chose me? Did I exercise free will, or follow my destiny? This koan could give me dementia, but was my life there in potentia with all that has been or will exist from the second that flower was kissed by some unimaginable bee whose love set the universe free? And the last poem is for mothers everywhere. Letting go. There comes a time for a mother to surrender her children, the firstborn and the lastborn, to the arms of other people, to break the last umbilical thread, to forget their blood and bone debt to her womb, to give up the security of being needed, to let her children grow, even if growing means growing apart, to know that she has been a bridge for life to pass over and beyond. Thank you very much.
I'm Rosie Wilson. My working life was lecturing in the London colleges, developing access and return to study courses and their curriculum. And retired in 2000, and I was invited by Sister Mary Flanagan. We were both at the launch of Paula's book, Dakayama, and that's where I met her, and she invited me to join Beltana. So I've been there since 2000, and with changing populations, but everyone always helpful and writing nice poetry. Thanks to Age and Opportunity, and also especially to Paula for her lovely book and for her friendship over many years. Right, my first poem is a prose poem, really. I don't know if it's even a poem, but anyway, it's something that Paula likes, so I'm reading it for her. There is a litany at the end, and I expect everyone to join in. We're all well used to them. It's called World Book Day. Among the crowd of shoppers in Henry Street, a man kneels down, closes his eyes, and joins his hands in prayer. Nosy as ever, I edge my way in. At the centre is a man wearing a pink jumper, red jeans, his hair in a long grey ponytail, his mouth moving silently as he gets down creakily on his knees. I elbow my way in. Is it praying you are? Indeed it is. And what is it you're praying for? I'm praying the artists and writers will take over our country from this crowd that's running it into the ground. Well, there is only one thing for it. I kneel down beside him, close my eyes, and join in his prayer. You're not going to believe this, but when I open my eyes, isn't the whole of Henry Street on its knees, all praying for the same result? More street ladies are handing us flowers from their market stalls, lilies, irises, daffodils. Your man with a ponytail begins a litany. St. Jimmy Joyce, pray for
us.
St. Willie Yeats, pray
for us.
for us. Everyone, it's a litany. You must know about litanies. St. Paddy Kavanagh, pray
for us.
Yes.
St. Edna O'Brien, pray for us. St. Seamus Heaney, pray for us. St. Colm Tobin, pray for us. St. Paula Meehan, pray for us. Right, and my other poem is a response to one of her poems in her Magic collection. The words were rhyme sea with trees, and I couldn't resist those words. They drew me in. Rhyme sea with trees. These long drawn out, COVID restricted days, without kindred spirits, we lean into nature. I cuddle up to broad trunks of Scots pines, hug slender silver birch, reach spreading ash tree branches, stroke different textured bark, breathe in scents of these native Irish trees. On daily walks along sea walls of Carrignacgrana, Collymore Harbour, I watch waves' curves as they rise and fall, silver, sea green or dark, hear the roars or range of music, feel showers of ocean spray. I miss seashore sand, coarse shingle, long to paddle again, join early morning swimmers, run into chilly water, skin glistening with sea minerals. We rub down with rough towels, share the day's news, thermos of coffee. Trees and sea water bear my weight, free me from a cluttered mind. In my being, sea rhymes with trees. Thank you.
Hello there, and thanks to you all who have taken the time to support this event. My name is Tom Dredge. I joined the Bealtaine Poets in 2008, and it's proved to be a very rewarding and enjoyable experience. The feedback from the group is honest and open, but it's also very encouraging. It sometimes leads me to edit some of my poems, which usually improves them. Some of my poems have been published in such magazines as Brian Berry's Skylight 47, Revival, and the Well Anthology. Reading Paula Meehan's latest collection was a wonderful experience, and I wish to thank her for giving the Bealtaine Poets the opportunity to respond to her book. My response was not direct. It was more driven by certain lines in Paula's poems that particularly touched me. So I have two poems to read for you now. The first one is called Transparency. He hides his secret in a dark place. Its suffocating cloak haunts him. He longs to untie his tongue, to free his voice, assail taboo. Surviving in his mind's loud rooms, far from his would-be accusers, he paces through those imagined conversations, never to see the light of speech. Silenced by the locks of ritual, he wears a mask to pull a smile, turning on a fragile axis except in the arms of his own Adonis. Transparency points a cold finger on all that is verboten. The train of culture trundles on, that finger slowly turning. And my second poem is called At Wineport Lodge. Our dinner was superb. Passing the blazing fire, we sit in the annex, chatting, sipping wine. Beyond our cozy frame of wood and glass, the wild lake grasses dance unsynchronized, until the southwest wind pulls them northeast, approaching symmetry. Snow begins to fall. Large flakes like petals from apple blossom gather on the verge of the outside decking. Dropping and melting, they wait evaporation, reflecting our lives, rising and falling, skirting the candy shelf of the mind's fancy, reaching and clinging to a slow emerging dream, imperfect and beautiful, the sum total of our possibilities. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Alice Owens. I live in Portmarnock by the sea. I've been writing since about 10 years of age. My interests are creative writing, music, and drama. I worked as a dramatist producing plays and pageants with adults and children, and for the past 14 years as a tutor and examiner on the drama and education strand of the MEd in Trinity College. My poem, The Treasury, is a reflection on my reactions as I read Paula's stunning book of poetry. It takes us up beyond the stars and down into the roots beneath the ground. It is happy, sad, humorous, searching, examining, and most of all, magical. The Treasury. From toppling shelf, I pluck the book emblazoned with buttercup birds, plunder the pearls squatting between the leaves. The wafer pages fatten, swell with sap, grow bole and pith and bark, sprout offshoots, soar into a stately oak. From toppling shelf, I pluck the book emblazoned with buttercup birds. The oak tree heaves his megalithic muscle to lift the dome of heaven, stop it dropping, as Atlas did, fated to bear forever the periwinkle sky in his Titan triceps. I creep into the canopy, shimmy up and up into the eagle's nest. The oak tree heaves his megalithic muscle to hold the dome of heaven. My world, now fringed with gilded catkins, promises tumbrils overflowing with amber acorns, all ablaze like the fabled jewels in Juno's necklace, coveted by goddesses sick with green-eyed jealousy. My world is fringed with gilded catkins. Tree nymphs kick up their heels to dance a reel. Crickets spin and spool a ceilidh tune. Crochet crotchets, weave semiquavers, embroider grace notes, tinkle the nodding bluebells, pipe bog reels, pluck wild violas. Tree nymphs kick up their heels and dance. A dervish dancer whooshes and whistles, swirling his skirts of turmoil, yanks up the tree with its tangled roots, turning us loose. I cling to each whorl, each notch and ridge in its furrowed skin, and ride my wild Jurassic beast bucking through the Milky Way. A dervish dancer whooshes and whistles, swirls his skirts of turmoil. The herdsman's cart will catch me if I lose my grip and slip, as we whiz through the flux of the galaxy, jigging past constellations, riding thermals where red chilly sun smudges idle fingerprints. All thought of humdrum wiped in ecstasy and fright. The herdsman's cart will catch me if I lose my grip. I count the stars, the abacus of the gods, conjugate declensions of the wind, gaze down in awe at strange mosaics, cloud shadow and the waves. Here, in the realm of rockets, the vernacular no longer matters. Semantics are irrelevant. Syntax is transcended. I count the stars, abacus of the gods, conjugate declensions of the wind. Flash of prismatic light, crash land, ragged sprigs blacken, roots shrivel, bark rips, heartwood minces to splinters. Wind back time, reel in the bits, spin the sap, churn pulp to paper, reprint, rebind, repaint yellow curlews, reissue the publication. Return to the hectic library ledge, retrace the shelves for the next beckoning text. Thank you.
Okay, my name is Esme Lewis and I enjoy writing. Paula Meehan is one of my favourite poets. It is an honour to be part of the Bealtaine writer's response to her book, As If by Magic. This is my poem with love and congratulations to Paula and Theo. For Paula and Theo. Love the cover. Discover, like those curlews, I can poke and probe deep in the pearly sand. Understand, grief, belief, and doors are opened. I travel through, I read aloud, I'm on a cloud. I hear your voice, I see your face, deeply moved memories crowd. I won't lend this book, buy your own, this book is mine. I open it and read another poem. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Maura O'Neill and I've been a member of Bealtaine for 3 years, and I really appreciate the support and encouragement that I get from the group for my writing. And also it's a lovely experience to share in their original work and words every month. Paula Meehan's As If by Magic has truly inspired me. Up to this, I used to always have John O'Donoghue's Anam Cara beside my bed, but I've moved him now to another shelf and Paula has taken up that important place. The line that I've chosen is from Paula's poem, The Russian Doll, and it is, I carried her home like a holy fire. The title of my poem is Craft. The Medina was menacing. Crowds gathered here day and night. Magicians and street vendors mingled with snake charmers. Water carriers posed for photographs with giddy tourists. We searched for an entrance to the souks. No map, no signposts. Stood at the start of a line of stalls. Owners pointed to their wares, beckoned us to bargain, to buy. We had no item in mind, no sense of, we must bring this home from Morocco. Just a need to travel a winding street with a longing for the unknown while keeping the landmark tower in sight. Fabric draped above enclosed us, walking side by side, but not really together, until we saw a wooden bowl on a workbench, surrounded by tools and chippings, infused with the smell of freshly cut timber, lines and rings, markings of seasons lived, worked into the roundness with natural skill. Beauty of the smooth wood, irresistible. Sawdust mixed with mint tea and dry air, my thoughts drifted to a lone tree on the hillside. Soft desert breeze gently flapped and snapped me out of this dream to hear voices in a game of ritual haggling until silenced by a handshake, and I lifted the bowl, curve so smooth to the touch. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Peter Clark. I've been with Bealtaine since 2008, my real writing family. And I've written in response to Paula's wonderful book, a couple of poems based on the Geomantics anthology collection that she wrote, using a form of syllables and lines. But first is a response to an sonnet that she wrote called Dublin, and I've called mine Cooking. As evening draws, his thoughts turn to food preparation. Eating alone needs a thoughtful menu. Boeuf bourguignon, salade niçoise, with a fine Bordeaux to excite the palate. He sets about basting his tongue as he goes. The intensity of the preparation sweeps aside the cares, upsets, and stresses of the day. His saliva glands driven to overdrive. Memory triggers. An anxious young boy in a search to earn his first scout badge begs his nan for help to cook. She sets him up amid her tears of laughter, instructs him through the mess of flour, fruit, sugar, until his golden tart emerges from the heat. And the next few are they're coming from a series that I'm writing called the Septet. 7, the octave. Small hands can't easily reach. It is a privileged gift to create feeling from sound, use mathematical shapes, vary finger use with small changes in pressure, combine to take us out of this world. Los amigos. I have conjured into place mentors from my learning tribe, traveled together writing, Meehan, Sweeney, Curtis, Hartnett, weaving their wounds in words. They held a framed poetics that grounds me to my pages. Bodies of work. Some of my mentors have gone on. Their bodies of work sit on my desk. I remember their workshops and what they taught, grinding and grounding my words till they shaped on the blank page. Base work for the here and now. 7 ages. Mother and baby home born, roughed in industrial schools. Love turned you parent mid-teen, street supplying prisoned you. Ups, downs of rehab failed you. Homeless, rough living wrecked you. All the world gone by 30. Love. On a frosty spring morning, you drop your feet to the floor, banister your way downstairs, switch on the gas range master, simmer the porridge to cooked, warm the pot, brew Assam tea, tray it upstairs. Today's right. Thank you. And so we end our response to Paula Meehan's wonderful As If by Magic, her selected poems published by Daedalus Press. Thank you to all Bealtaine writers for your wonderful contributions. I've thoroughly enjoyed all the poems. Thank you very much and goodbye.